So, Awaroa National Park is out now on PC, and I wanted to make a quick little video guide going over some hotspots and the best loadout for this map to kind of get you guys started off on the right foot. So we're going to start with the loadout, and we're going to go into the storage here just to kind of show everything kind of neatly, but the loadout on this map is actually pretty simple, and it allows for a lot of variables. So we'll go to the top here. I have the 303 burnished. Doesn't really matter which version of the 303, but I liked it as much as the M1 anyway, and they weigh the same amount. They're both 3.5 units, so feel free to interchange that, but since it's the new gun, I wanted to go with that. I've got the Mosin, that's pretty much just going to cover Pharaoh Goat and Shami, and I've got the 22 for the rabbits and the turkey. Then of course I just have the ammo. I've got the Argus scope, that's the one I use, the Hyperion, the exact same weight, whatever scope you want to put in there. I have all the colors except for the turkey locator. So the red deer color calls red deer and Sika. Obviously the wild boar color is going to work for the Pharaoh Pig, and the rattler for the fallow, and I have the turkey mouth color. And the reason I didn't bring the locator is so that I could actually fit down here further tents. You could do tripods, they weigh the same. You could do ground blinds, they weigh the same. But it's nice to be able to carry the tent around. Maybe as you're just starting out in the map, you can kind of put tents down in areas that you find good. But of course I have the first aid kits and the binoculars, and it's nice. Got plenty of room in there for all that stuff. No backpack, no, I think it's pack mule perk, just normal 20 units. So now that we have our loadout set, I want to go ahead and move on to hotspots, and the way that I did hotspots for this map is basically my favorite locations from playing on the creator beta. If I were to join a multiplayer game and I've got like a couple of minutes left before any of these species drink time is going to end, and maybe I can check one or two spots, these are going to be the locations I go to. And we're going to start with Shami, which I only marked one location on the map, and the reason is this spot up here in the northwest is just loaded with them, and I'm not sure why there's so many. You can see it here. They're all packed in here drinking. Their drink time is 4 to 8 a.m., which is a nice little window. You got plenty of time to check pretty much all their spots, but these two lakes up here, like I said, are just insane for them, and I couldn't really mark several spots. This is the hotspot for Shami on this map. And while we're on the topic of hotspots, I'm going to leave a link in the description below to All the Above's channel, because he always makes hotspot maps for all the different species and puts them into a video, and I trust those as much as I trust anything else in this game. So if you want to see more locations than what I'm showing here, be sure to check that out. But we'll get back to this insane location, and I think the craziest part about it is it's not only this side of the lake, there are a ton of them over here as well as on that side, plus the lake to the south of here. And you can really see it from this lookout. They are absolutely everywhere. And by the way, the rare spawn rate for the Shami seems to be off, because you'll notice there are quite a number of melanistics over here, but I'm hoping that might be fixed. I'm not really sure what's going on with that, but there is a 4 there. We'll go ahead and take that guy, and then we'll move on to the next hotspot. But yeah, they are just all over both of these lakes. And assuming that doesn't change, I gotta think there's gonna be all kinds of trophy Shami coming out of here. And this lookout, by the way, north of the lake is a perfect spot to see them. But just super quickly, we'll take a look at our not-so-rare melanistic Shami, and we'll move on to Sika deer. Now, there's nothing on this map that's quite like the Shami, where there's so many animals packed into one zone, so I'm not going to go to every location that I show on the map like I did for them. I just wanted to show how many get into those locations. So, as for the Sika, I think of the 2 locations I have marked on the map, I probably prefer the northern location just a little bit more. It's mainly because it's one big lake, and I do think there might be more Sika here in total. Because if you get over here on the side and you really start skinning around, even through the fog, you end up seeing a lot of Sika drinking around this lake. Some are just females, of course, but there's actually quite a lot of them, and I think it depends obviously on the server. Some are going to have more, some are going to have less, but there can be quite a good number. And I've got one marked over here, which I think would just be a shame if we didn't actually take out. I'm not sure exactly where he's hiding at. He's not that one. I think he's just behind that one, though. Somewhere up behind this tree. There he is. I don't know where he was hiding. I had to walk all the way back over here just to find him. Fortunately, with the 303, it's quite easy to bring them down, but I also wanted to mention before we end up moving on to other stuff and forgetting, the drink time for Sika deer is 8 to 12, which is a pretty nice time frame. It's right after the Shami you're done drinking, and it's a full real-time hour of, like, daylight. Perfect time to hunt anything in this game, so they're a good one, but I figured it would be a shame to not take out this just majestic dark-spotted level 1 Sika. But we got him, and we'll move on to Pharaoh Pig. And actually, once again, of the two spots that I have marked on the map, the northern spot is definitely my favorite. If you saw yesterday's video, we go down that southern coast, and we saw a lot of pigs, but as far as getting them all concentrated into one little area, I think this spot is a little bit better, and just getting in here, I actually spooked several of them, so that doesn't necessarily help things, but just looking around in the area we can see, there are a good number of pigs just kind of walking around and drinking out here, and I just think not only is it probably the best spot to get them all kind of concentrated into one area, it's also probably the most realistic looking area where hogs would be. But that good size 4 was there, and he actually just returned to his drink zone as we took that shot there, and I figured we'd go ahead and take that one out since he was a max weight estimate. But definitely a pretty good size pig, 125.7 gold brown hybrid. And just to talk about the drink time for Pharaoh pigs, they drink from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. so I'm often starting around 5 just to hunt them in the daylight. But if you want to hunt them at night, you can start at 3 and get a full 45 minutes of hunting them. And again, just to mention it, these spots that I have marked are just my absolute favorites. Pharaoh pigs, like a lot of the species on this map, are actually pretty all over. But anyway, we're on to the last new addition to Call the Wild as far as species, and that is the Pharaoh goat. And of the two areas I have marked on the map, I definitely prefer the river. I just like being able to see across it, and going down the river, there's quite a lot of Pharaoh goat zones, and I chose this location because we can see several of the drink zones. And you can just see so many goats from one spot, and it depends from map to map, and that's why I'm not going to every single location that I show. Every map's going to be a little bit different, and you never know exactly where the zones are going to be. But in this particular occasion, there are goats absolutely all over here, and of course, after a lot of effort, we have a 5 down here, and it's got 0 chance. 207 max score, diamond is 208, so we are inevitably going to get trolled, but that is going to be the goat we go for. It's about a 220 meter shot, so should be quite fine for the Mosin, as long as we shoot the right one. Should kind of be lungs and liver, but I really do like the big Pharaoh goats. Honestly, again, with the map coming out today, this is being recorded on the beta, it's probably not too bad to actually get trolled. Maybe we can get a proper diamond on the live game. By the way, not only are we going to get trolled, but this is actually my favorite fur type for the Pharaoh goats as well, the black-brown. And he's still 7 shy of diamond, but hopefully we have something that looks like this to look forward to, but actually making diamond in the live game. And before we move on to the other two species that I have hotspots for, I did skip over the European rabbit, obviously, because I just don't know many of their burrow locations, and the turkey, because I actually haven't hunted them in their drink time at all, and they were on Silver Ridge Peaks anyway, and I think they're probably easier to hunt there. I just wanted to mention, again, going back to what I said at the beginning of the Pharaoh goats, any of these locations I'm showing, just walking around the water in those highlighted areas, you never know where there's going to be a zone, so again, every map is different, that's why I'm not showing super specifics, but in those highlighted areas, there are just a lot of zones for any of the species I'm showing. Fortunately, my favorite spot for fallow deer is the same as my favorite for Pharaoh goats, because I did forget to say the drink time for Pharaoh goats, which is 10 to 12, but you can see even another zone along this river. But to move on to fallow deer, once again, like I said, along this river is my favorite location for them. I saw so many going down through here, and I think the northern spot is just as good. It's up there where we saw the Pharaoh pigs, and there are drink zones all around it for the fallow, but I'm pretty sure I actually saw more along this river, and this is all one take, by the way. You can see the goats there, and right down here are some fallow deer. So there's a decent 4 there. He's max weight estimate. There's more running off from this location, but that guy is definitely a little bit bigger, so it's about a 300 meter shot we'll go for with the 303, and hopefully we can just drop him there. Not going to drop, but he'll go down quick enough. We actually hit him in the vertebrae, so a little bit unfortunate, but it was only 225 meters, so I don't know if we ranged through him. I'm not sure. Either way, it would have been the rare silver level 4, so that's not a big deal. And so I don't forget once again, fallow deer drink time is 9 to 12 on this map, so kind of the same as the Pharaoh goats. You can hunt them both at the same time. And you can see even one more Pharaoh goat drink zone here, but we are going to move on to the last species that I have hotspots for on this map, and that is the red deer. So I actually mentioned this in yesterday's video. Red deer drink time on this map is different than on every other map. They drink from 18 to 2100, and it's a very small window of daylight, so I changed the time and tried to get here quickly. And you can see a lot of them are still moving into their zones, some spooked as I tried to get here, but there are a ton of them. We're in the same place as Sika. I'll actually show the map real quick to look at the couple of hotspots. Once again, I think this area in the west is just a little bit better, and it was yesterday's video as well, where we discovered the area in the north, and there were a bunch of stags up there, but if I had to compare the two, I think it's this area down here that actually has more red deer. So the biggest one that I've seen through all the stags that are walking across here is actually one that's in his zone already. This guy right back here, just a 7, but I think we'll just try to get him, and that is pretty much going to be it for this little quick guide. So if he'll lift his head, we'll go ahead and try to slot a shot in there. Managed to heart shot him and get him to lay against that tree. That honestly is kind of cool. We'll get a quick screenshot of that. Unfortunately, the light doesn't stay on anymore, but maybe with like some Photoshop or something we could brighten that up and make it look good. But we got a gold red deer to end on here, and I think we're just going to go ahead and wrap this video up. I imagine if you're watching this, you're ready to get out there onto Awaroa National Park, and I hope this video helped you out. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.